on your questions of the past 2021. Part 1. Question from Elena. To which of the higher forces is the question intended? Hello, Saint Germain. Please answer the person's question. Of course, dear, I am always glad to communicate with you. Question. Who is God? What is God? How to feel it? How to know Him? How to get to know Him? How to talk to Him? Darling, it's very simple. God is you. God is all there is. God is the totality of manifestation. God is life. Everything you see around you is everything what you feel. Everything you perceive is He. How to feel Him? Open your heart and just listen to Him in your heart. Look for Him there. Do you hear how He responds to you? He is in your every day, in every drop of water, in every leaf on a tree, in every cloud above your head. He is everywhere, and He is nowhere at the same time. He is omnipresent. We can say that He is the world that in you and around you. How do you know the world? You just explore it. But you understand that there is no end to the study of the world, because as soon as you know something, new depths of knowledge open up. So does God. It is impossible to know Him, because He is infinite, and therefore you can endlessly cognize Him every second, because every second He changes, and at the same time He is unchanged in you. His qualities, His essence are unchanged in you, but the manifestations of His qualities in you and outside you every change for a minute. Feel it. How to get to know Him? Get to know yourself, because He is inside you. Just start getting to know yourself. Do you know yourself well? Look into your soul and you will find Him there. He also comes to you with every person you meet on the way. Get to know Him in every person. He comes to you different, under different masks. He plays with you in a game called Recognize Me under the mask. Do you recognize Him in every person, in every animal, in every plant? How to talk to Him? Just talk to yourself, because He is in you. Do you often talk to yourself? Do you often reach deep within yourself to talk to Him? He is everywhere, and therefore you can talk to Him everywhere. Whenever you talk to any person, remember that He is in every person, and therefore remember that you are talking to God every time. How you talk to Him? What do you convey to Him with your words and feelings? Talk to Him, for He is everywhere and in everything, and therefore you can talk to everything, to every plant, to every cloud, to every body of water. You can talk to rain and rainbows, because He is everywhere, and everywhere He is different. Recognize Him under the masks, for they are different. Question from Natalia. To which of the higher forces is the question intended? To the designers of the universe. I asked the architects of the universe to answer. We are here. We are in touch with you. Please answer the question. Question. I am engaged in numerology according to the author's method of Sidorova Natalia Alexeyevna. Question. How relevant is this teaching for people? Numbers rule the world. You were told. Numbers are patterns. Laws form dimensions and measure different statuses of spaces and matrix formations. Everywhere the codes of creation are laid, and these codes are encrypted in figures and numbers. The language of numbers is a universal language that links all structures together, a kind of program code that is constantly being improved and developed. Each number is a development code, and therefore all the numbers that participate in your development are represented in your personal code, the code of your incarnation. These are the dates of birth, and some other numbers of your identification. Studying the numbers, you will find patterns of building the world, patterns of development. Numerical codes are everywhere. They are in the proportions of your bodies, and in the proportions of consciousness codes, and in the spirals of development. There are many formulas for development and materialization, which are described in numbers. Therefore, study the numerical codes of the universe. Of course, they are much more complicated than numerological codes, but you start with the ABC of creation and therefore study numerology. As you grow, we will transfer other development codes to you. But for this you will have to master sacred mathematics, sacred geometry, the teachings of proportions, numerical integration and much more. Question from Leah Lemberg. To which of the higher forces is the question intended? Cain and everyone who can considers it necessary to answer. I ask Kian and Cain to join. We are here with you, dear. We are always there, because we know that you always have a lot of questions. Question. I have several related questions about the energy sources mentioned in the channelings. How to figure out, estimate, measure, feel? What is the ratio of energy produced and consumed by a person at a point in time? I understand that this ratio is changing every moment, but the general dynamics should be there. How to notice in time if the dynamics suddenly change, and the person begins to consume more than he produces? How to produce more than you consume? How to learn to consume less, save, and is it necessary? How to learn to produce more and not overdo it at the same time to your detriment? What are additional sources of energy that need to be found and connected to oneself? What are the specific options? And in general, dear forces and teachers, please just tell us everything that we need to know on this topic. Help us so we can help you. I really want to be for the universe not a burden, but a help. Maximum efficient. We are all sitting in the same boat. I think that I'm not the only one who wants, and specific, detailed answers to my questions will be useful to many more. P.S. I love our universe, even if it's a simulation. But at every step you can see that it was created with love, created by artists. I admire their work. That is why she became an artist herself. Hello dear. Thank you for a great and very timely question. We are very glad that some of you have begun to think about this issue, because it is one of the cornerstones. You are energy and everything is energy. Everything moves and develops due to energy. You are accustomed to and know what the energy of divinity is. You scoop it up without an account and think that it is right. But the point is not that it is finite or that you have to pay for everything. It's about your maturity, your energy status. The energy of divinity must develop, expand. If it does not develop and expand, then it does not begin to stagnate or begins to thicken. And then she starts to act unpredictably. Your task is to transform the divine energy, and not just use it for your own needs. To figure out how much you consume and how much you produce, you just need to look at the balance of your life. How balanced is it? How balanced are you? If not, then you have these are not equivalent values. If you are in a state of imbalance, then the amount of energy consumed and produced differ, and there can be both negative and positive imbalance. Do you need a balance? Is it bad if a person produces more energy than he consumes? If a person produces more energy than he consumes, then this is a state of a saint, close to holiness. People are drawn to such a person. He becomes a light. It is impossible not to notice him, and it is difficult not to be attracted to him. He radiates like that. It draws attention to itself, and people come to its light and its energies. If you are just full and very active, it simply means that you have such energy. And if a person is overactive, then energy is also spent on balancing it. Understand that the systems that we have built will always strive for balance, for alignment. Therefore, your high activity will also level out, and this also needs energy. And your passivity will also level out, and this also takes energy. Therefore, you need to come into a state of balance in order to begin to conduct pure light through yourself without fluctuations in emotionality. And then you will conduct the light of God through you. It turns out that we ourselves cannot produce energy, but only consume or conduct it. It depends on what kind of energy you ask. You can produce different energy, which is in demand by different levels and consciousnesses. But this is just a redistribution of energy within the system. In order to increase the energy of the system, you need to stand at a point of balance and begin to extract from yourself the divine potentials of the spirit, some impulses that come to you through the heart chakras that are connected with the divine beginning. It is there that the perpetual motion machine is located. It is there that inexhaustible reserves of energy are located, in your heart, where there is a connection with the Creator. Question from Natalia. To which of the higher forces is the question intended, Cyan or Cain? Question. The knowledge about the unified Neodaimon Colossus is transmitted through the channel of the creators of the universes in the new Trinity on the transformation portal. Quote, looking at the world of dreams from the quantum consciousness, it becomes clear that the true purpose of the Creator is not in the acquisition of integrity, because it never disappeared, not in the gathering of souls of a child in unity, because in certain layers of being everything is already collected, but in deep living current MIGA. What can say about Neo Colossus and that everything is already collected? And isn't this the same group that is half an octave higher? Thanks to Ken and Selena for any relevant response. Oh dear. Everything, of course, is already assembled and everything is intact. But, you see, integrity itself can also be different. It can be multivariate. In other words, there are different variations of integrity. Look up set theory. But that's just a beginning. You still have much to master in divine structures and theories of development. And the assembling of integrity, new variants of integrity, consists precisely in different qualities of living integrity and separation. This can be imagined as a kind of children's coloring, which only indicate the contours of the picture, but each of you will paint these contours with different colors and thus bring your own colors, your own vision of the world into the overall picture of the Creator. It also looks like a multicolored panel that can shine with activation crystals of different facets and shades. Imagine such splendor. Some divine drues of crystals, which shines with unthinkable magnificent shades. And you bring all these shades. Each of you is a part of such a crystal druze of the divine consciousness. You color it, you fill it with the radiance of life. And the deeper the living of each moment, the more powerful and brighter your crystal of consciousness sparkles in this magnificent druze. Do you understand? The druze of consciousness itself has already been assembled, but each of you every moment activates new waves of sparkling light passing through this druze. In fact, the simplest comparison for this is the images on your televisions, which are made up of a huge number of perceptual light particles called pixels. And depending on what color each pixel gives, there will be a different picture. Therefore, the entire screen of the Creator has already been assembled. It is a myriad of these pixels. But with each of your living, you collect new pictures that appear on the screen. And you can ignite every pixel of His consciousness, which you are, only through the light of your soul, through immersion in your experiences, through the complete inclusion of yourself in the processes of divine cognition. Question from Constantine. To which of the higher forces is the question intended? Lucifer. Hello Lucifer. Please answer the question. Hello, dear, I miss talking with you and, of course, I will be happy to answer your questions. Question. The higher mind enlightened that all matter is encoded energy. I would like to know, is the code, say, the same code for a wall of concrete of the same brand for what is in reality and what is in a dream? The question may seem strange, but personally I will completely revise my attitude towards the game if it turns out that the codes are the same. There is no understanding of either or. There is an understanding of and. You have already been taught this. The code is both different and the same. That is, in each code there are groups of subcodes. They code a lot. There is a space code, there is a substance code, there is a time code, there is a structure code, there is an energy code, there is a stationarity, density code, there is a power code, etc. in the code of any substance. For in the degree of materialization there are many parts, and these parts can differ from each other. For example, the concrete code of each brand changes the code of spatio-temporal indicators. In addition, if the concrete wall is currently lit by the light of the sun, then it has one code, and if it is in the dungeon, then it has a different code. Therefore, the codes are multivariate and multifunctional. It's like a code designer who collects matter in your sector of the world. He asks about substance codes in dreams. Are they different from reality? Certainly. There are many realities, so the code of any substance also includes a spatial code, that is, in which reality the given substance is located. Aren't the substances of different realities connected? Of course they are. But it is necessary to distinguish between different states of matter. The substances of one space are somewhat different from the analogous substance of another space. Therefore, in the code of any state of matter, there are also spatial indicators. And what seems to be a dream to you will be wakefulness in other dimensions. Question from Irina. Which of the higher forces is the question intended for? The Creator. I asked the creators of the universes to answer. We are listening to you. I don't know which one of you is asking. Are the trees of different universes different? Yes and no. You already know the principle. It can be said that all the trees of the universes are united into a common tree of manifestation. Each universe is a kind of branch of the common tree of the universe, but not like yours, because each branch of yours is a tree itself. It looks like a tree. Let's give you a clear analogy. Let's take your trees. They have a lot of objects and structures. The tree itself is fractal, but it has fruits. The fruits of your trees are arranged differently. Let's say, there is an apple fruit, which has a five-fold structure, and there is a pomegranate fruit, in which there are many grains, and there is a nut fruit, in which there are two halves, and there is a peach fruit, in which there is a monocenter like a seed, and there are bunches of grapes, in which each grape is separate and at the same time connected to the whole tree. Therefore, imagine that the same is the general tree of manifestation, which is connected through fractality, but each universe is a different system of connections that are represented in your various fruits. Selena.